What it is, what is up, welcome back to my channel. It's a wrap, aka Yudi here, and I am discussing with you all the top 10 books that I really want to get to before the end of this year. Not only do I really want to read the book, but also there are a type of book or a genre that I really want to read more of in this year. So if you're interested, stick around and we're going to get into it. Hopping right in, the first book I have is Sister Outsider by Audre Lorde. I've had this book for a minute, not for too long. I probably got it like last year or the year before last, but I've never read anything from Audre Lorde. My favorite book in 2025, one of my favorite books in 2025 was a collection of political essays from June Jordan, and I really enjoyed that. Just reading essays from Black women discussing politics, race, gender, the intersex of it all. I always have a good time with that. And I just want to be able to have a reference, especially to Audre Lorde's, work in my mind. So I feel like this is just one I must read, period, in my lifetime. But I definitely want to get to this year. In the same vein, if you saw my first used book haul, I was able to get Toni Cade Bambara. It won't focus. Yeah, Toni Cade Bambara's Gorilla My Love. It's a collection of short stories. I really want to read Toni Cade Bambara, period. And this is one book that I've had on my shelf that every time I look at it, I'm like, I really want to pick it up. And I just don't. But yeah, this is one that I really want to get to this year. Actually, these are two are really good to get to just this month, if I can. I think all of them kind of fit the bill. Ironically enough, the next book I want to read kind of connects to Gorilla My Love because this author was an editor for Toni Cade Bambara's Salt Eaters, if you know what I'm talking about. Who I really want to get to is Toni Morrison. I just picked up Tar Baby, but there's a couple of Toni Morrison books that I really want to get to this year. And specifically, picking up two books, specifically this month would be a great month to read Toni Morrison or Tar Baby and Sister Outsider from Audre Lorde because they are both Aquariuses. Shout out to my Aquariuses. They're both born in February. So not only are they born in Black History Month, but their birthdays also during Black History Month. So it would be perfect to read both in February. I always hear, I haven't read Tar Baby, that's why it's in my hand. I also have not read Paradise. And I think last year I was at an event and a lot of people said that their favorite work by Toni Morrison is Paradise, and I don't own Paradise. So at the end of my wrap up, you probably won't see a Toni Morrison. It might not be Tar Baby. It might be something else. But yeah, this is one book I really want to get to before the year ends. The next book on my list of 10, what is this, book number 4, is what I literally just got this version of this book. If you saw my last, was it last month in December? Okay, yeah, maybe December, maybe November. But I got this version. I already had Waiting to Exhale, but I got this cover version, which I think is the most popular one of Waiting to Exhale. So I really want to, I've never read anything by Terry McMillan, and I own so much Terry McMillan. I've gotten so much Terry McMillan books in my used haul adventures, but I really want to read Waiting to Exhale, especially now since I've read The Wilderness. And is it a group of 4 girlfriends? Yes, it's also a group of 4 girlfriends. So I want to read this, and I've heard some interesting commentary about the friendship between the characters within Waiting to Exhale, some critique about it. But yeah, I really want to read Waiting to Exhale just to be able to share my thoughts and also see how the book fares compared to the movie. Okay, moving on. This is speaking more towards, I have a lot of nonfiction on my shelf that I have not read, and I really want to get through the nonfiction on my shelf. I also just want to read more nonfiction, period. And I do read, I think, quite a bit of essays, especially essays that comment on politics and things of that nature. But anyway, the point is that I want to get to The Battle for the Black Mind this year by Karita L. Brown. And isn't the cover beautiful? The cover is gorgeous. But this is a book about the U.S. education system over the decades or the years, how it has systematically disenfranchised Black people. So yeah, I'm very interested in reading this. We'll see if this is another book that I get to this month. Hopefully I haven't said more than 5, because usually my limit, like if I've read more than 5 books, I think the most books I've ever read in a month is maybe 7. But if I read more than 5 books in a month, it was a really good reading month, or I had a lot of time off. But it's been snowing, so maybe I'll get some time to get to these. Moving on. This is a book that I had in my 10 Before the End last year in 2025, and I just didn't get to it. That's People of Means by Nancy Johnson. I really, which I probably am. I'm probably, because I really do want to get to this. I'm a mood reader, so I do, I be going by feelings. So I'm still kind of in the feeling of People of Means. So hopefully I can get to this sooner than later. So hopefully you'll see this in a winter wrap up. The next book I have is Sweetness in the Skin by Ishii Robinson. This is one book that I really want to read. I do want to read this book, but also I want to read more Caribbean authors and Caribbean stories. There's so many, and this is one of them that I haven't got to. I actually have a couple on my shelf that I just haven't got to, and I really want to get to this one as well as the others, and just some more. But yeah, I do want to read more Caribbean stories in 2026. And this is another book that represents what I want to read more of in 2026. But this one might be a little bit more challenging for me. This is Confrontations by Simone Atangana Bekono. And this is a translated work, I think this is based in Sweden. The Netherlands. Okay, so this is in Dutch. This is translated from Dutch. But the actual character is Cameroonian. Yeah, Cameroonian. Oh, but the mother's Dutch, so she's mixed. But anyway, this is a translated fiction about a girl who ends up in prison in the Netherlands. And as she's in prison, we're learning what exactly happened that got her there in the first place. And I think I had this in one of my anticipated reads. It was probably 2024. It may have been 2024, if not 2024, 2023. And I still just haven't got to this book, but I really do want to read it. And I wanted to read more translated works, period. And I also would say, I want to read more diversely in terms of the diaspora, especially the Caribbean, on the continent, and in Latin America, just reading more diversely in terms of Black voices. It does get a little bit more challenging on the continent as well as, Latin America, because we're dealing with different languages, and it's a question of, is the work translated or not? So there's a lot of Brazilian, and mainly Brazilian, but there's a lot of Brazilian work that I would love to read, but I'm I don't know Portuguese. And, in terms of work from the Francophone countries, yeah, once we get into different languages, it starts being harder to be more diverse in terms of Black voices, which is already hard, period, to get published. But yeah, all to say that I do want to read more translated work. Okay, the next book I have is Night Crawling by Layla Motley. I know she came out with a book, was it last year or the year before last? Was it The Girls Who Grew Big? But I still have not read Night Crawling. I still have not, because everybody's all this book is heartbreaking, it's sad. As someone who actually usually reads a book that's pretty sad or emotionally taxing, I thought about doing a video of books that I find kind of intimidating and why, and this is definitely one of those books. And it's literally intimidating just because I know that it's a very heartbreaking story. Another book that I'm actually currently reading, and I finished because it's part of a book club. The book club is actually meeting today. But Let Us Descend. I actually, do I have it up? I don't have it up here with me. But Let Us Descend by Jasmine Ward. That's another book that I had for a minute. I even got the book signed. Okay, I even got the book signed. Still was hesitant to read it, and I finally read it, and it was everything that I thought it would be, but still very beautiful. But anyway, all in all, to say that I just really just want, like, every time I look at the book, I'm like, I want to pick it up, but I'm afraid to pick it up. But this is a book that I definitely want to get to in 2026 and finally just be. It's the books that you've been waiting to read forever that end up being like the best books, and you wondered, why did I wait so long to read it? But yeah, night crawling. And then the last book is literally one of the goals I always had is to read a book in Spanish. Every single time. I don't know if I've probably said this in other videos, but I was a Spanish major in college, and I did used to have to read novellas and, things in Spanish. Okay. I traveled to Spanish speaking countries a lot. I converse a lot in Spanish. I can read in Spanish, but I buy the books, especially when I'm traveling. Like, this is going to get to a story. I've had the same couple of books for a minute, and I keep saying I'm going to read it, and maybe I just need to get some new books. So anyway, I went on a trip in 2025 to Mexico, and I went to the bookstore, and who we were traveling with was like, oh, not only is this a Netflix series, but it's a pretty short novella, and it's just a really good story. I already know how the book ends. I'm not going to tell y'all, or the stories end. But that's Pedro Páramo. Because I got two, y'all. So I went to Mexico. I got Pedro Páramo and Las Batallas en el Desierto. You can see I even took it out the wrapping. It still has a wrapping on it. But both very short stories. We're told they were very good. You will have a good time with it. So Pedro Páramo, I'm pretty sure is the one that's on Netflix. But my sister was all like, Beauty, have you read the book yet? Because she was all like, I want to watch it once you read the book. And of course I haven't read the book. But what I do know is that this was written in like the 50s. Yeah. It was part of like a chronicle in a magazine by Juan Rulfo. The story is about, from what I read from the summary, and also from the little bit I've read, because I've kind of read the first couple of pages. So a man's mother dies, and he's never known his father, but the man's mother was all like, hey, I want you to go to your father's hometown. And the story follows him as he makes this trip to the hometown. And that's all I'm going to give away, because I feel like if I give any more, it's pretty much going to give away the ending. But each story is a character that he encounters on his trip to his father's hometown. And yeah, look, it's super short. I should be able to finish this. I know. It's like, girl, why do you keep traveling and getting these recommendations for books and not reading them? But I was very specific when I was in Mexico. I was all like, give me books by Mexican authors. And these were the two that I got. And that is it, y'all. This was a really short video, but these are really the books that I hope to get to in 2026. But let me know what type of books you want to read more of in 2026. If any of these books are ones that you've read and you're all like, girl, put it to the top of your list. Don't waste no time. Or maybe I should waste my time, and like, you're okay if you wait a little bit. Don't rush. And let me know if any of these books are also on your list, or if there's any that I should maybe add to my list. Right now, if you care about what I'm currently reading, I'm currently reading Kin by Tayari Jones. I'm really trying to read this before the 24th, because she's doing a meetup in DC. She's meeting with Jacqueline Woodson, and Jacqueline Woodson is like an essential canon to my childhood as a reader. Miracle Boys and If You Come Softly, those are the two immediate ones that come to my head, because like when I think of like the quintessential books that I read when I was younger, she's a special place in my heart. When I hear Jacqueline Woodson or like see her name, I think of like, this is what I read when I was a kid, when I was coming up. Like, this is the quintessential work that I went to. So anyway, I'm just very excited to see them in conversation, and I am glad, one, that I'm going to get a copy of Kin, because right now I'm just reading an ebook arc, but I'm excited to get a copy of it. And also I'm excited to read this book. So far, the book is actually really good. I'm really into it. I think it's the one thing I appreciate about Tayari Jones' writing style is that it just feels very human, and like it's drama, but there's still like it's still something to think about and like discuss, like in American Marriage. Like it's just so it's an easy read. It's a digestible way to speak about, you know, these social themes and topics, if that makes sense. But either way, that's all I'm really reading right now. Hopefully I'll get that done before the 24th. 100% will. It's not even the end of January yet. I'm done yapping, y'all. I'm just in a yapping mood today. But until the next time, deuces.